In 1886, Milton Hershey returned to Lancaster, Pennsylvania with almost nothing. His second candy business had collapsed in New York. His credit was damaged. He did not even have enough money to ship his belongings home. Some relatives saw him not as a determined entrepreneur, but as an irresponsible drifter who had already wasted too many chances. He had spent years working over hot kettles, sleeping in shops, borrowing from family, and chasing customers through some of the most competitive cities in America. And after all of it, he had 2 failed businesses to show for his effort. Today, the name Hershey is printed on one of the most recognizable chocolate bars in the world. But before the factory, before the town, and before the fortune, there was only a failed candy maker, standing in Pennsylvania with a ruined reputation and one idea he had not yet given up on. This is the story of how Milton Hershey failed twice, risked the success he finally earned, and built a chocolate empire from the lessons of ruin. Milton Snavely Hershey was born in 1857 on a farm in Derry Township, Pennsylvania. His childhood was shaped by 2 very different examples. His father, Henry, was curious, imaginative, and constantly searching for the next opportunity. He tried one venture after another, moving the family as he pursued ideas that rarely produced lasting income. Milton's mother, Fanny, was disciplined, practical, and deeply frustrated by the instability those failures created. Milton grew up between ambition and caution. His formal education was limited, the family moved often, and his schooling was irregular. As a teenager, he was placed in an apprenticeship at a newspaper. He disliked the work, made mistakes, and was soon dismissed. His mother then helped him find another path. At around 14, Milton began working for Joseph Royer, a confectioner in Lancaster. There, he swept floors, served customers, made ice cream, and learned to control heat, sugar, texture, and timing. Candy making was demanding work. A small error could ruin an entire batch. But unlike printing, this work held his attention. After 4 years, Hershey believed he was ready to build something of his own. In 1876, Philadelphia was preparing for the Centennial Exposition, the first World's Fair held in the United States. Huge crowds were expected, and the young confectioner saw an opportunity. With financial help from his mother's family, Hershey rented a shop near the route to the exposition. He sold candy, caramels, ice cream, fruit, and nuts. He worked exhausting hours and sometimes slept beneath the counter rather than return home. At first, the business made a small profit, but Hershey was trying to sell too many products with too little equipment. Philadelphia's confectionery market was fiercely competitive. His candy was good, but his production was too small to create strong margins. Sales came in, yet the bills came faster. Loans from relatives kept the shop alive, but they did not solve its underlying weakness. After 6 years, the business failed in 1882. For Hershey, this was more than a financial loss. His family had invested in him. His mother and aunt had worked beside him. Every unpaid bill carried the weight of their trust. Still, he did not leave the candy business. He traveled west to Denver, where his father believed new opportunities were waiting. But Denver had entered an economic depression. Hershey could not afford to open another shop, so he found work with a local confectioner. That job gave him something more valuable than another loan. He learned to make caramels with fresh milk. The method created a softer, richer product with a distinctive taste. It was not yet a company, but it was knowledge Hershey had not possessed in Philadelphia. He continued moving, searching for opportunity in Chicago and New Orleans before reaching New York City in 1883. There, he opened his second candy business. For a time, it appeared that the first failure had taught him enough. The new shop gained customers. The future looked possible again. But the old enemy returned: cash flow. A business can appear busy and still be dying. Orders mean little when production costs, rent, payroll, and debt consume the money before it arrives. Hershey's New York operation struggled to maintain the capital it needed. By 1886, the second business had failed. This time, the consequences were harsher. Hershey returned to Lancaster with a bad credit rating and almost no property. His belongings remained behind because he could not pay the shipping charges. Several relatives had lost faith in him. He was no longer a young man making his first mistake. He was a repeat failure. Yet hidden inside those failures were 2 lessons. Philadelphia had shown him that a business needed focus and production volume. Denver had given him a better product. New York had shown him that sales without cash discipline could still end in collapse. Hershey's third attempt began in an unimpressive rented building on Church Street in Lancaster. The facility offered little to impress a banker. His most valuable assets were cooking kettles and the fresh milk caramel formula he had learned in Denver. His mother and Aunt Mattie returned to help. A former employee, William Lebkitcher, helped recover Hershey's belongings and became one of his most loyal associates. Together they began producing a caramel called Crystal A. Then came an order that could change everything. A British importer wanted a large shipment of Hershey's caramels, but Hershey did not have enough money to buy the ingredients required to fill it. He approached the Lancaster County National Bank for a loan. On paper, he was a terrible candidate. He had failed twice. His credit was poor. He had little collateral. But the bank's cashier believed in the man and the order. He personally backed the loan with his own signature. Hershey bought the ingredients, produced the caramels, shipped the order, and received payment. According to the company archives, he was so excited that he ran to the bank wearing his work apron. The order became a turning point. The Lancaster Caramel Company expanded rapidly. Hershey occupied more of the building, purchased neighboring properties, opened additional production facilities, and sent products across the United States and overseas. By the early 1890s, the man who had once been unable to ship his belongings home had become one of Lancaster's most successful businessmen. For many people, this would have been the end of the story. Caramel had rescued his reputation, repaid his persistence, and made him wealthy. The safest decision would have been to protect the company and enjoy the fortune it produced. Instead, Hershey became fascinated by another product. At the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, he saw German chocolate-making machinery in operation. Chocolate existed in America, but good milk chocolate was still difficult and expensive to produce. It was largely a luxury. Hershey believed chocolate could become an affordable, mass-produced food for ordinary people. He purchased machinery from the exhibition and installed it inside the caramel factory. In 1894, he established the Hershey Chocolate Company as a subsidiary. Early production included cocoa, baking chocolate, and coatings for caramels. But milk chocolate was the real prize. Creating a stable formula was difficult. Milk contains water, and water does not easily combine with cocoa butter. The mixture had to taste good, remain consistent, survive transportation, and be produced on a massive scale at a price ordinary families could afford. Beginning in the late 1890s, Hershey and a small group of employees worked through repeated experiments. They adjusted milk, sugar, cacao, temperature, and processing methods. There was no simple manual that could hand them the exact answer. Then, in 1900, Hershey made the decision that defined his career. He sold the Lancaster Caramel Company for $1 million. This was not the sale of a failing business. It was the sale of the company that had finally made him successful. He gave up the product that was already proven to concentrate on chocolate, a product he had not yet mastered at the scale he imagined. Failure had not made him cautious in the ordinary sense. It had made him selective. He was not risking everything on a random idea. He was applying years of experience to a market he believed could become much larger than caramel. Hershey's milk chocolate was introduced in 1900 and found early success. But the real scale of his ambition required more than a product. It required an entirely new production system. He searched for a site where a large factory could have reliable water, rail access, workers, and enormous supplies of fresh milk. He chose the countryside near his birthplace in Derry Township. Many associates considered the location too remote. Established cities already had roads, labor, housing, and commercial infrastructure. Building in farmland meant Hershey would have to create much of that infrastructure himself. He bought land quietly. Construction began in 1903, and the factory was completed in 1905. The location gave him access to nearby dairy farms and enough space to expand. Mass production lowered costs. The Hershey bar helped turn milk chocolate from a luxury into a product ordinary consumers could buy. But Hershey's ambition extended beyond the factory walls. Workers arriving in the countryside needed homes, transportation, schools, stores, and places to rest. Hershey began building a town around the company. He supported housing, public transportation, parks, community buildings, and other infrastructure. His vision was unusual in one important way. He believed that business success should create a functioning community, not merely a private fortune. His personal life also shaped that belief. In 1898, he married Catherine Sweeney. The couple had no children of their own. In 1909, they established a school for orphaned boys, providing housing, education, food, and practical training. After Catherine died in 1915, Hershey's commitment deepened. In 1918, he transferred his ownership of the Hershey Chocolate Company and much of his fortune into a trust supporting the school. The decision was made quietly and was not publicly revealed for years. He had built one of America's great fortunes, then placed control of that fortune behind a mission designed to outlive him. During the Great Depression, when unemployment spread across the country, Hershey financed major construction projects in the town. Buildings and public works kept people employed, while other industrial communities were suffering. This was not charity separated from business. It was the final expression of Hershey's philosophy. A company should create a product people can afford. It should provide work. It should build institutions. And if it succeeds, its wealth should serve more than the person whose name appears on the package. Milton Hershey died in 1945 at the age of 88. By then, the failed candy maker had built far more than a chocolate company. He had created a factory system, a recognizable national brand, a town, and an educational trust that continued after his death. His life is often reduced to a simple lesson about persistence, but persistence alone is not enough. Hershey did not repeat the same failure until the world finally rewarded him. He changed after each defeat. From Philadelphia, he learned the danger of complexity without scale. From Denver, he gained a better production method. From New York, he learned that demand could not rescue a company with weak cash flow. From Lancaster, he learned the power of focus, trustworthy partners, and disciplined expansion. And when success finally arrived, he did something even more difficult than surviving failure. He abandoned safety. He sold the business that had made him rich because he believed another product could reach more people. Or then he built the factory near farms because the economics of milk mattered more than the prestige of a city address. The empire did not emerge from blind confidence. It emerged from accumulated lessons, carefully chosen risks, and the willingness to rebuild without pretending the earlier failures had never happened. In 1886, Milton Hershey returned home with damaged credit, stranded possessions, and 2 failed businesses behind him. The world saw a man who had run out of chances. Hershey saw 2 expensive educations, and from those ruins, he built something designed to last.